We are in the midst of going from fall to winter, and there are a few things that we as Canadians need to get our houses ready for, specifically when it comes to HVAC. So, here to talk about that is Chris Han from Burlington based Wolseley Canada Inc. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
All right. If my grandpapa taught me anything, it was when the winter is coming near, you get out what looked like an old barbecue cover and you cover that air conditioner. That was many years ago. I'm wondering, is that still a thing? And is that the only thing you have to do for an air conditioner in the winter?
Yeah, so it's still a thing. It's a good practice, especially if your air conditioner is located on a lot line where there's a sidewalk and there's traffic. You want to make sure you're protecting that unit. As you know, there's people in the neighborhood that like to walk their pets, and their pets will lift their leg to most things. So it's a good practice to actually cover that because it is acidic and it can damage the unit. Before you do winterize, quote unquote, winterize and cover that air conditioner, it's important to maybe clean it, wash away any debris that may last the duration of the winter. These things are built pretty robustly, so they can take a pretty good licking. But yeah, it is a good practice. It's just like winterizing or getting ready for the winter season with your vehicle. You want to do the same thing. You want to maintain it the same way. You want to maintain it both in the winter, and then as we talk about getting into air conditioning season, you're going to want to make sure that a contractor is in to service it, to make sure it's in good working condition for the summer season as well.
So consider the cover the winter tires of the air conditioner.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
100%. That's a good analogy, actually. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, naturally, the winter means the furnace is going to be very active, and I think we all know there's that smell when we first turn on the furnace. Now, at least I know that, and I'm hoping that is a normal thing. I'm assuming it is, but is there anything else people should be aware of before the furnace gets its winter use?
Yeah, so it is normal because that is dust collecting on the heat exchanger inside, and then when you fire that unit up and there's heat created, it burns that particulate off, so it's completely safe. I would say that checking and replacing your furnace filter on a regular basis, but more so as we get into the heating season, you want to make sure that there's a clean filter within that unit when you start into the fall time frame. The reason why we'd like to do that is that it can cause airflow restrictions, which will hinder the air from passing through that filter up through the furnace and condition it into the home. So you want to make sure that that's clean. If you've got pets, if you've got multiple people in that family, stuff adheres to that filter, and what it does, it causes restrictions and could affect the performance of that unit. So you want to be mindful of that, and you want to actually look at, depending on if you've got pets again and multiple people in your household, you want to make sure that you're changing that furnace filter every 4 months just to be safe.
4 months. Now, there are different types of filters, though. Any filters? Because there's like the larger, wider ones and then the smaller ones. Any filters, 4 months?
Yeah, so I would say it's a good practice for any filter to be replaced in 4 to 6 months, again, depending on the traffic in your home. We do recommend using what they call a pleated filter, and a pleated filter has what they call a MERV rating. And what that is the higher the MERV rating, the smaller particulate that it'll catch and filter out of the air. The standard minimum practice is a MERV 8 rating for a filter, but typically if you want to get down to that 99.9% of all the particulate and spores and mold in the atmosphere, you want a MERV 13. Now they tend to be thicker. The MERV 8s are 1 inch. The MERV 13s are 4 to 5 inch, depending on the unit that you have. But it is, especially if you've got people in your family with respiratory issues, or people with compromised immune systems, you want to take as much out of the airstream as possible. So I suggest going with a thicker pleated filter.
Now, one of the things that we commonly see in sitcoms, perhaps old movies, is the dad being very concerned about the thermostat. You don't touch it, kids, you leave it alone. But depending on where you live, what home you live, how old it is, the thermostat can be really wackadoodle at times. Certain places in the house are warm, certain places are cold. Are there keys to helping make the thermostat more accurate for the whole home?
Yeah, I'd say so. One of them would be placement. Your contractor who is in there servicing your equipment or installing net new equipment will know by looking at the layout of the floor plan where the optimal place to put that thermostat is. You usually want it in the most occupied space in the house. You want it in an open air situation where it's getting air from different rooms, so it can kind of sense the median temperature within the house. So that's best practice, is to put it in the heaviest used area in the home, typically upstairs. And then secondarily to that, these thermostats nowadays are pretty smart. And when I say smart, there are actually smart thermostats that learn your patterns in your home, and it will adapt to when you're in the home, how long you're in the home, and adjust temperatures accordingly. But there's also programming that you can physically go in and have your contractor set and teach you how to use that thermostat, where it would set back the temperature in certain times of the day when you're not in the home in order to conserve energy and gas. And then that way it's savings for the homeowner, but it's also good for the environment.
Yeah, I know some people like it a little bit cooler, a little bit warmer when they sleep, and it's very easy to do with one of the newer thermostats that you can adjust.
Right.
All right, Chris, here it is. Here's the question that I just need to know. Everyone gets spam calls from the duct cleaners.
Yeah.
I don't know why spammers think this is a magical way of getting information. However, with a legitimate service, is duct cleaning worthwhile, and how often should it be done?
Yeah, so I'm of two minds of this. If you've done any renovation or repair work to your home, and there is a considerable amount of dust or off-gassing from some of the materials used, you know what? It's probably good practice to have a duct cleaner come in and clean right after you're done your renovations. I think after that, net new, depending on the age of your home, older homes tend to off-gas more particulate in the air. So maybe every couple of years, it's a good practice to make sure that you're cleaning your ducts out, so that particulate dust that rests in the ductwork doesn't get to the furnace, bog it down, damage the componentry. So yeah, every now and then it's a good practice, but you're right, trying to find one that's actually reputable and to make sure that you're getting one that's actually doing the job that you're asking for is a different story altogether.